Hello, everyone. Welcome to Driving in the Dark. As I just mentioned in my recent review of Beasts of No Nation, I am super crazy, goddamn fucking sick right now, and also am buried the full. What I lost my train of thought already, but I'm also experiencing allergies. So like I've got a really bad cold, and I'm also experiencing allergies. So I'm gonna sound really fucked up and weird and crazy and shit. But the good thing about having allergies and getting sick is that you get to lay on the couch all day and watch TV. And on Easter Sunday, I was way, way, way too sick to go to my usual family function across the state borders to celebrate Easter. So what I did was I basically sat at home and watched the TV series, Netflix series, Love, popularly attributed to Judd Apatow. And this is a series that has gotten something of a mixed reception. As I mentioned, Judd Apatow has been heavily involved. He was an executive producer. He helped write it. But it is very distinct from his previous televisual works, Freaks and Geeks, Undeclared, so on and so forth. Love stars Jillian Jacobs, who you may know from Community, as Mickey Dobbs, a young woman, and Paul Rust as Gus, a young man. And as the title would suggest, they sorta, kinda, almost a little bit find love, but in like a weird, creepy way. Love is 10 episodes long, and you know what? I don't even know really how to summarize the plot. There's a whole lot of cat and mouse. There's a whole lot of will they, won't they. But, basically, it's a story of a real disgusting, cynical, creepy, weird, in a bad way, piece of shit guy who gets lucky enough to run into an eccentric and interesting and enjoyable young woman, as played by Jillian Jacobs. And they kind of sort of a little bit fall in love. Or do they or don't they? Maybe they really don't. This is definitely a television series that really, really, really stretches that point out. That really plays up. Do they actually love each other? Are they both just assholes? There are no easy ways to summarize this because this series provides us no easy answers. But binge watching it in one day on Easter Sunday, I can say, even though personally I do enjoy Judd Apatow's work quite a bit, I did not like this series that much. I enjoyed it a bit while I was watching it, but at the end of the day, it's a mixed thing for me. I kind of fall right down the middle. And I've heard a lot of stupid and ridiculous and crazy criticisms of this series. People, like, the main one I've heard is that, how am I gonna watch, like, a television show when both of the characters are, like, unlikable and I don't get them and they're not good people? Me personally, I am really, 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 really into unlikable characters. What is typically defined as unlikable or bad is basically just the type of people I'm naturally attracted to and the type of person I am. If you see a television character that's unlikable, they basically just have the kind of shitty, fucked up personality that I do. Meaning basically that they constantly make bad decisions. So I had a predisposition to enjoy this. And I will say that I enjoyed and related to Miss Jacobs' character quite a lot. Mickey, to put a name to her. And when people say unlikable in her sense. It basically means she sleeps around, she does drugs, she's not very responsible, she kind of fucking does whatever she wants, she's a little bit cynical and manipulative. And that's kind of a character I can relate to. And honestly is the kind of woman I'm drawn to and attracted to, good or bad. And this series was, I think, basically good. As I said, I enjoyed Miss Jacobs' character, but with the unlikable thing, I don't like these characters, I don't relate to them. I kind of really understand that criticism, but it goes the other way. Gus, as played by Paul Rust, is kind of awful. And that's something that they acknowledge from the beginning of the series, when his former girlfriend breaks up with him and says, "You're not really nice, you're fake nice, and you're just manipulative, and you're creepy, and you don't actually care about me." Everything bad said about this guy in like the first episode is like 100% absolutely goddamn fucking true. And the problem with the series is after that, he just straight up does not change. He remains creepy. He remains selfish. He remains thoroughly unpleasant. Like, there are a million reasons you would fall in love with someone who's not good for you, or someone who doesn't care about you. But this character, Gus, does not present a single one of those. He doesn't manifest anything anyone would ever possibly find attractive. He's like Woody Allen on fucking crack. This guy is anxious and nervous and insecure and weird and creepy and alienating and dishonest. And those things can coexist alongside a semi-attractive personality. Those personality attributes can exist alongside something that would draw you to a person. But like, that's literally all he has, is that this guy is a piece of shit. And somehow throughout this series, he just keeps getting laid. He keeps getting attention. He keeps having people stick up for him. And the more and more you watch this film, this television series, this guy is awful. I hate him. I hate him so goddamn fucking much. He hasn't said a single clever thing. He hasn't exhibited a single good personality trait. He hasn't done anything interesting. He hasn't said anything clever. He hasn't demonstrated his value in any possible single way. But all these beautiful and lovely and wonderful women just keep falling into bed with him. And I'm all for unlikable characters. I'm all for flawed, fucked up, manic, depressive, addicted, crazy fucking characters. Because that's the kind of person I am. And that's the kind of person I like. But this guy had no contrast. It was literally all bad. All of it was bad. Like, that sort of cliche about 80s films, like Revenge of the Nerds or whatever, where, like, in Revenge of the Nerds, where, like, one of the nerd characters, like, straight up raped someone, and it wasn't even taken as bad. Whereas nowadays, we would think, holy shit, that's awful. Like, this Gus character is full, unreconstructed 80s misogyny and creepiness and just, ugh. You just want to fucking throw up in your mouth every time this guy talks. Every time he says or does anything. And Miss Jacobs' character, Mickey, evolves and changes and shows us different sides of her personality, and she's interesting. But Gus is just straight up unpleasant for the duration of this series. And I'm sorry, it's not a political thing or a cultural thing or anything. I just couldn't get over how fucking shitty this guy was. Because you can watch all 10 episodes of this and still not have one single possible reason you would ever fuck this guy. Or even talk to him. He is just awful. And he gets lucky over and over and over and over again. And there's sort of this criticism of Judd Apatow and Judd Apatow's work, where these kind of schlubby, overweight, nerdy guys get laid. But that archetype of Judd Apatow's work is of men who are basically well-intentioned, basically good people, basically nice, but also a little bit weird and nerdy. This guy isn't well-intentioned, this guy is not nice, this guy is not interesting. He is nothing. He is a black hole of... he's a black hole of personality, of anything interesting or engaging. He is absolute fucking death. Just all the way through this series, up to the final dramatic conclusion, which I won't spoil, but from point A to point Z, this guy is fucking intolerable. He is so goddamn fucking awful. And he doesn't grow, he doesn't change, he doesn't reevaluate his life decisions. Now I could be on board for a TV series where a shitty male character didn't reevaluate his life decisions. But I could not be on board for this series. I was not on board for Love. Because there was not a single, I promise you, not a single moment in this series where I was like, oh, I can see the value in this person. I can see why a woman would date him or be attracted to him or have sex with him. Not even once. Not even for a second. Not even as a passing fantasy. This guy is human fucking trash. In the worst way possible. Because he doesn't present himself as trash. He's that passive-aggressive, weaselly fucking bastard. He's he's like fucking Macklemore or something. And it's just... You watch it, and the story is good. The humor is basically on point. Structurally, the drama plays out pretty well. But this is a 50-50 thing. You have Mickey, and you have Gus. Mickey is interesting and conflicted, and she changes, and she does different things, and she goes through emotional difficulties. Gus is just terrible. All the way through. Beginning to end. Gus is fucking trash. And fuck this guy. Fuck him. And I don't mean to dwell on the point, but it is what it is. If I can watch 10 episodes of a TV series, and the only thing I can really say to you is fuck one of the main characters, you know there's a problem. There should be dozens of other things I want to talk to you about right now. But the only thing I can say right now is holy fuck, I hated this character so goddamn fucking much. He was awful. And this is me sick. This is me hopped up on, cough medicine and cold medicine and whatever else. Through this foggy haze of sickness and, basically just, I was high basically watching this. And I still hated this fucking guy. It was incredible. Incredible. He does not have a single redeeming value. But okay, I'm trying to wrap this up, so I'll move beyond Gus for a second and say the writing in this is pretty good. If there's a problem with the writing, it's that this is a 10 episode series that really should have been 5 or 6 episodes long. It really drags, and it skips around a lot, and a lot of the drama and conflict feels nakedly artificial, feels disingenuous, feels forced. But all in all, take it as it is. The writing is good. The direction is, pretty good across the board. There are a lot of interesting characters we're introduced to throughout this. The themes aren't all that interesting. But hey, even though I was sick and fucked up on cold medicine, I still watched 10 episodes of this in one day. And that says something about someone. Someone was doing their job enough that I could watch this for, 5 or 6 hours. And yeah, beyond a doubt, this Gus guy, piece of fucking shit. Could not stand to watch him. And for that reason, this series was disappointing. And he was just so bad that I'm sorry, I know this sounds like a one-issue thing, but I promise you this character was so bad it almost overshadowed the rest of the series. But, here's what I'm going to say. This is a little bit like BoJack Horseman, which was also a Netflix original. The first season of BoJack Horseman got bad reviews, and it wasn't as good as it should have been, and it was a little bit underwhelming. But after that, after season 1, they knocked into the stratosphere. BoJack Horseman on Netflix right now is one of the best television series you can watch. It is brilliant, it is emotionally engaging, it's funny, it's dramatic, it's heartbreaking. All I can say is Love has had a disappointing first season. That is not as good as it should have been. It's a little bit cynical, it's a little bit inconsistent. It's just, the ducks are just not in a row. I'm sorry. And I like most of the characters, and I like most of the story arc enough that I just hope that season 2 of Love will be better. Go the BoJack Horseman route. Have your little poorly received, weird, alienating first season that people don't like. It's a little too cynical, it's a little too unstructured. And then come back with a season 2 that blows us all away. That's what BoJack Horseman did, and, I hope that's what Love does. I have faith in Judd Apatow. I have faith in Miss Jacobs. And you know what? I have faith in this show, as much as it alienated me in so many ways. There's good stuff in here. If you're like me and you get super crazy fucking sick, check it out. If not, if you're just, healthy and happy all the time, wait until season 2. Because I bet you that season 2 of this show is going to be a fucking beast. And that's really all I can say. There's a lot of plot things and general stylistic things I could have mentioned. I'm sorry I got so caught up in the Gus thing, but hey, this season has really severe problems. And that's pretty much it. I'm sure that by season 3 of Love, I'm gonna be head over heels, pardon the pun, in love with it. But as it stands right now, this show is just not cutting it. It's not as good as it needs to be. And they have the raw talent. They have everything they need to make a brilliant, enduring classic show. They just haven't done it yet. So, hey, do it. Please do it. You have so much potential in this show. And you know what? Judd Apatow, please, for the love of God, bring your lovely wife, Leslie Mann, onto this program. Because if Miss Leslie Mann is on season 2 of Love, I know I'm going to love it. Do that. And also tighten up your writing. Not you specifically, but in general, tighten up the writing, and have a bigger vision. Do something bold, do something brave with season 2. Because this first season was just a disappointment to me. And for that reason, I gotta give the television series Love, season 1, a score of 2.5 out of 5. This has been Driving in the Dark. You can hit me up on Twitter at DITD Podcast. You can listen to us on iTunes, on SoundCloud, on Stitcher, on YouTube. And if you don't know, now you know. Whoa.